Hi, my name is Justin Leet, and I'm going to be talking tonight about Prodigy, the online math tool. Prodigy is a tool that allows students to practice their math skills in an engaging way. Students create a wizard avatar that they'll use to travel around various fantasy lands. They'll defeat enemies with the power of their magic spells that they cast. In order to successfully cast these spells, they need to use the correct answer for math questions. The teacher will choose the strand of math that they want to do, as well as grade level for their class, and then they can change the format so that it can be used for standardized test prep or just generic test review throughout the time. In Prodigy, there are a few examples of manipulatives that can be used that can allow students to work through the problem in a variety of ways that would best suit their needs. So in terms of using this as an online math tool, it can be used from grades 1 through 8. The curriculum is chosen from there. However, I believe it's suitable more for the primary grades, maybe 1 through 3, just due to its kind of juvenile nature. But it could be used for 4 to 8 as well. So there were a couple of things that I noticed from an equity and diversity standpoint that I wanted to talk about. The first was character creation and customization. Immediately when I went to create a character, I was given an option of creating a boy avatar or a girl avatar. For me, it wasn't a problem. I was able to choose male because that was the gender that I identified with. However, I do realize that there are students that we might have that feel that they do not fit in with the binary gender system. And I do acknowledge that maybe for these young ages, of course, that might not be a problem where students are still discovering themselves and maybe they haven't started considering their gender identity yet. However, it is entirely possible that a student might have questions about that, and don't believe that they fit into this binary gender system that Prodigy uses. Are you a boy or are you a girl? When you customize your character, I realized that the outfits that my character could choose or the way that my character could look was very limited. If I did choose a boy, all of the haircuts I could choose for my character were short. All the clothing were generic male colors or traditionally male colors such as blue, red, t-shirt, shorts kind of thing. If I had chosen female, they were dresses and flowers and otherwise, traditionally female things. If I was a male, or identified as a male, but I chose to express myself as female or as feminine, I would have a problem finding a character that would look like the way that I would expect to identify myself. Continuing on, the way that avatar customization was done could only be, for skin color, you could only choose to have 5 different skin tones, ranging all the way from pale ghost white to really dark black. And of course, none of them really seemed very lifelike. It seemed like they were trying to make an effort to be inclusive, but in the end, it was very limited. And I believe that it would be very difficult for me to find a skin tone that matched mine. And if I came from a country that was not maybe traditionally Western, I think I would have a very difficult time finding a skin tone that I felt represented me. Then I got to name my character, and this opened up a whole new can of worms, and was ultimately my biggest gripe with this program. You can only choose from a predetermined set of names. I thought that maybe I would be able to type in my name, however, that wasn't the case. I should mention this is not my name personally, it is the name of the avatar, and it doesn't necessarily have to be your personal name. However, I felt that I wanted my wizard to be a digital version of me, so I wanted to give them my name. Fortunately for me, Justin was an option that I could have chosen from. However, if my name was not a traditionally Western name, unfortunately, my options were very limited. As I was searching through, I did see some non-traditionally Western names. I saw Abdullah, Yusuf were a couple of examples. However, overall, the names were traditionally Western. To me, it seemed like they were trying to be diverse with the inclusion of names such as Abdullah, but at the end of the day, 2 or 3 names from non-Western cultures does not seem to go quite far enough in providing a diversity to me. I think had they have allowed for the character to type in whatever name that they wanted to instead of selecting a predetermined amount of names, that would have made it a lot more diverse and made for a more inclusive atmosphere. Another problem with names was that had I have chosen a male avatar, the only names that showed up for me were male names. I couldn't choose a traditionally female name. And I realized that if I had a student who maybe identified as male, or maybe they just wanted to play as a male character with a female name, that was totally impossible. For example, I couldn't create a male name with, I couldn't create a male avatar with the name Sally. It just did not exist. I could not do that. I feel like this made it seem not normal. They tried to normalize names with gender, and it seemed to me like, well, had I have wanted to do that, I would have felt, wow, this isn't normal, because the program doesn't allow me, so I guess this is against what normal is. Let's switch for a moment to some of the things that I really liked about Prodigy, because there are quite a few things that I did like. For students with a diverse set of learning needs, Prodigy is great. The math involved really, it helps students get through it no matter the need. It gives you it in text as well as in oral, so you see it in writing and you hear it, which is great multimodal. So kids that maybe have a learning disability where they have a hard time understanding what they're reading get to hear it, and that multimodal connection is a really great way for them to connect to what they're learning. The feedback loop is great in the program. If you get a question wrong, it does not embarrass you or make you feel like you got the wrong answer. It simply coaches you through the correct steps to do it and teaches and asks you to try it again. You're not penalized in any way for getting the wrong answer, and I feel that's great because it kind of levels the playing field for all students. Additionally, if a student is developmentally at a lower level than maybe their peers, the teacher does have the ability to change the grade for a specific student and modify the program. So again, this definitely levels out the playing field and creates a completely inclusive environment for the student. And I thought that inclusivity made for a very equitable and fair learning experience, no matter what the needs of the student were. The other great thing about it was that the worlds that you were able to travel were very generic fantasy worlds. Therefore, it did not kind of perpetuate or simulate any stereotypes of any real world, stereotypes that you might expect. This included, various levels of SES, for example. If you felt that you came from, an SES that was low, you weren't feeling excluded anyway, or feeling like you had, a video game kind of mocking you for that, or if you came from a culture that was non-Western, you weren't staring at a screen where they had characters that were acting a stereotype that kind of poked fun or even came across even unintentionally as kind of a mock of what your culture might be. So I did like that. The final thing I have to say is that there were opportunities to invest money into this. It was an otherwise free program, but there were ways that you could input money into the program by purchasing a membership. What I really liked about the system, however, was that the educational component did not change. If you were a member of a low SES community and you did not have the money to purchase a membership, you had the same quality of education using this program as somebody of a much higher SES than you did. That did not change. However, I will say that if you did pay extra money to become a member, that would grant you access to some really cool features, such as new outfits or costumes, as well as a world that you get to explore that nobody else could, or people that did not pay for it could not explore this world. To me, that kind of reminds me a little bit of the privilege of members of high SES communities. If I have the money, then I can go and do this extra stuff. I do understand that it being a free program means that they need to come up with some strategy to fund their business. And if I want to continue using this program, which I do feel is otherwise great, I might want to invest some money into it too, or else this kind of a programming won't be available to me in the future. However, from the perspective of a student, I can really see that if I came from a low SES community and could not get access to these really cool costumes, or I could not go to this special area, while my friend who came from a high SES community could, I think that I would probably be a little discouraged and might find it not fair. So that's just something worth considering. Overall, I think this was a great strategy for inclusiveness for students with a variety of different learning needs. However, I do think a lot needs to be done to it to achieve more diversity. Again, they need to allow naming. They need to allow a way for the students to come up with their own names for their avatars, so that you get a way to express yourself the way that you want to express yourself. I'd like to see the gender binary gone, so that students can really have the opportunity to express themselves any way that they wish to do so within their avatar. Overall, I think that while this is a great program, I don't think that it can be used alone. I do think that it's not a replacement for teachers in class. And I think that it's important that we, as teachers, still find ways to teach the math using these diverse tools. So I believe that when you're giving a math question, you could very easily include names of our students who might be from different cultures, or include non-gender binary names, or female characters with male names, or whatever in our word problems or something, just to make students feel welcome and to create a more diverse program.